JD here again. I have to do this because I just came across something which was probably in line, Gail, for the Dickhead of the Decade award. I'm going to get my partner in crime here to tell you what's on the... This is about taglines, by the way. This is taglines and the importance of taglines. Woolworths got it right. Okay, Woolworths are the fresh food people, and I was at one stage in the national marketing position for Woolworths. I was not responsible for that tagline, but I can tell you it stole market share like crazy, because amazing what happens when you spray some water on fruit and take better photos and then just say Woolworths are the fresh food people. They stole so much market share from Coles, it wasn't funny. We were just behind it was a van, wasn't it? Here on the Gold Coast, and it had Victorian number plates. Now, I don't know how they get in anyway, because no one's allowed to come to Queensland these days, courtesy of this moronic government that we have. But anyway, it was a Victorian number plate, and I've got to tell you, the tagline was classic. But before I give you the tagline, I will ask my partner in crime here, what's the taglines for the other states, I think you were saying?
The Queensland is the Sunshine State, pretty good. New South Wales is the Premier State. West Australia is the Golden State. Tassie is the Natural State, and Northern Territory is Outback.
So therefore they're all pretty good, aren't they? They are saying to you what that state stands for, Outback, or whether it's the Golden State being gold mines in Western Australia. Guess what, Victoria? Guess what, Victoria? I've got to show you this. This is Victoria's, I've got to tell you. Okay, so that was the van. I've got it on Gail's phone here. So that was the van that we're following. And now she's going to flip over to a close-up of the number plate. Wait for it. It's a classic Victoria, the education state. OMG, Victoria, the...
That's all they could come up
Victoria, the education state. Wow. Can you imagine the meeting? There was a meeting of, say, a dozen people, and they say around the table, this is the government public service department. Okay, anyone got any ideas for, taglines for our number plates? We've got all these other states. The Sunshine State tells everyone that Queensland's, got lots of sun, and then the Golden West, and which is the wine state? Yeah, the wine state is South Australia. And somebody says, you know what, we're known for cuisine. So why don't we call ourselves the foodie state, which would be good, okay? Because that's what Melbourne particularly is known for, the great restaurants and cafes. And someone else says, oh, what about the coffee state? And they go, oh, yeah, okay. And then some moron at the back of the room puts his hand up and says, what about the education state? And everybody's jaws just drop and go, mate, you're a genius. You're a genius. We've got to call it the education state. Can you believe that these things get through a committee? I mean, I cannot believe it. Can you just imagine that? If I was in that meeting, I would ask them I got asked at school many times, just leave the room, okay? Piss off. You are a dickhead. And running the Dickhead of the Week awards, I mean, this one would win my Dickhead of the Decade award. Victoria, let me just bring that back again. You've got to see it for a second time. This is what it says on Victorian number plates. Victoria, the education state. Now, is that a turn on or what? I'll tell you what, as a tourist, you'd be rushing down there because, goodness, they must have, I don't know, tours of universities and schools. The education state. What? And look, in my marketing consultancy, of course, what I preach to businesses, not always successfully because there's so many dickheads out there, and that is that, choose benefits when you're going to be creating a tagline for your business, and that's why Woolworths the Fresh Food People works. But choose benefits, don't choose features. I mean, for all I know, Victoria might have a better education system, but I cannot see anyone following a Victorian number plate from some other state, reading it, going, the education state, I've got hard nipples.
Got to go for a holiday there.
I've got to go there. I think I want to be educated. I give up. You know what? And that's why these politicians, I can't work them out. How the hell could they ever survive in business? Can you imagine? I mean, here on the Gold Coast, you've heard me possibly bitch and moan before. They spent $2 million at the Commonwealth Games coming up with a sign that said Gold Coast, and they put it in the middle of the freeway leading to Brisbane so no one could read it. It was parallel to the freeway, okay? So if you were driving along, you'd have to look like that as you're going past. It was just moronic. And I can't believe 10 people in a meeting went, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's put a sign up that no one can read, And there's so many things. I mean, look what's happening with Queensland at the moment. They've now decided to give a date for opening up the border, but can you imagine the morons said in, I think Carl Stefanovic bagged it out the other day on one of the TV shows, and that was, they said, the Premier of Queensland said, I don't believe there's any evidence that closing the border has hurt businesses on the Gold Coast. Stevie Wonder would be able to see that businesses on the Gold Coast had been decimated as a result of the border closing longer than what perhaps it should have. It's just amazing how stupid these... I'd like to say to these people, you would last 5 minutes in business. No wonder you got into government, for God's sake, because you can hang around with other dickheads.
And get paid off for life.
Yeah, well, I would have liked to have said to that lady who's running Queensland, first of all, could she spell IQ? But then secondly, I would say to her, how about you give up your salary from March till now, give it back, okay, and see how long then you'll take to open up the border. In other words, have some empathy for the poor businesses on the Gold Coast that are doing it tough and made no money whatsoever. Why don't you experience their pain and then see how quick you open that damn border? Anyway.
She hasn't had any suffering.
She hasn't had any suffering at all, you know, no. I mean, I was going to say something naughty, but then again, in the political correct world that we're in, I can't say it, but anyway. Okay, so therefore, I was going to be sarcastic.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm never sarcastic, so it would have been a first for me. Listen, by the way, if you are a business owner and you are, you think that there is a chance of dickheaditis creeping into your business, in other words, you're going to sell on price coming out of the COVID-19, that's what everyone's doing, just dropping their pants, and you want something that's going to distinguish you from all of your competitors, what about a free holiday for a family of 4 anywhere in Australia? Okay, well, lots of places in Australia at least, and you only pay $97. So if you're selling something for about $1,000, let's say, or more, and you were to give up a 10% lousy discount, you know it's not going to bring anyone to your business. Who cares about 10% when Groupon are 50? But if you imagine if you were selling, anything over $1,000 or $2,000, and you could say, look, buy it now, and I will give you a family 4-star holiday at beautiful resorts around Australia, and it's only going to cost you $97 for the holiday. Do you think that would work better than a 10% discount? What do you want?
I think so. I really think so.
I pay her to say this, by the way. She would not voluntarily have said that, except she said, I want to go to dinner tonight. So normally I would take her to somewhere really, really upmarket, like the Meringue RSL, but that's closed because of social distancing. I think it should have been closed anyway, frankly. We went there once. I went there. Remember, I had to go to speak for a seminar, and it was really weird. I was the only person in there, well, we're the only people in there with teeth. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll have every orangutan now going nuts. I know, yeah. If you are interested in this holiday promotion, all jokes aside, obviously I'm trying to give some content, but then flog my stuff, then just click the link above or below me here and you'll see how it works. It is insane. It's basically the Happy Meal toy from heaven, because what do you think everyone wants now in Australia? Aside from going to a cafe, they want to go on a holiday, and so therefore you can actually get a 5-day holiday for a family of 4 at these luxury resorts around Australia, and it's only $7, and as a percentage of whatever you're selling, that might only be 5 or 10%. I think it's going to be the 5 or 10% discount. I'm out of here.
See you later.
Okay, bye-bye. I've done enough ranting. I feel much better now. And by the way, if you're going to go anywhere now that the borders are, go to Victoria and be educated. Morons.